They say the most dangerous person in the world is someone who has nothing left to lose. But they're wrong. The most dangerous person is someone who has everything and still feels empty inside. Sarah had everything. Power, money, control. A billion-dollar empire that answered to her voice alone. But love? That was something she buried 5 years ago. The night it rained just like this. And she promised herself, never again. Across the city, under flickering streetlights and the smell of gasoline, Leo pulled his jacket tighter. Rain soaked through the thin fabric, but he didn't stop. Because stopping meant thinking. And thinking meant remembering. The hospital bills. The rejection emails. The silence. So instead he delivered. One order at a time. One street at a time. One quiet sacrifice at a time. To the world, he was just another delivery driver. But in his small apartment, covered wall to wall with scribbled equations, broken laptops, and handwritten code, Leo wasn't ordinary. He was something the world had forgotten how to recognize. A genius without permission. At that same moment, 40 floors above the city, Sarah stood at the head of a glass table. Her boardroom. Her battlefield. "Tell me again," she said coldly. "Why is my company bleeding millions, and no one in this room has a solution?" Silence. Engineers avoided eye contact. Men with degrees. With titles. With confidence. But no answers. "The system is compromised," one finally said. "The breach is evolving. It's not something we've seen before." Sarah's expression didn't change. "Then see it faster." Hours later, Leo arrived at the tower, a building so tall, it looked like it didn't belong to the same world as him. The guard barely glanced at his face. "Service entrance is around the back," he muttered. Leo nodded quietly. He was used to that tone. Invisible until needed. Inside, polished floors reflected everything. Except people like him. As he approached the executive floor, his shoes left faint wet marks behind. And that's when she saw him. Not his face. Not his eyes. Just the dirt. Get him out of here," Sarah said without slowing down. "He's ruining the floor." Simple. Final. Like a door closing. Leo didn't argue. Didn't react. Didn't defend himself. He just turned and walked away. But in that moment something slipped from his bag. A worn leather notebook. Unnoticed. Unimportant. Left behind. In a place that would soon change everything. Hours passed. The building emptied. The lights dimmed. And Sarah sat alone. Still fighting a problem she couldn't solve. That's when she saw it. She picked it up, expecting nonsense. But what she found made her freeze. Lines of code. Not messy. Not random. Perfect. Elegant. Impossible. Her eyes scanned faster. Her breath slowed. "This isn't just code," she whispered. "It's a solution. Not just any solution. The solution to the breach that had her entire empire on the edge of collapse." And written in the margins, a single line. A poem. Even in the rain, light finds a way to exist. Sarah stared at those words. Because once, a long time ago, she had thought the same thing. For the first time in years. Something cracked inside her. Not fear. Not anger. Something softer. Something she didn't recognize anymore. She didn't sleep that night. Instead, she searched, followed a digital trail most people wouldn't even notice. And it led her to a quiet diner. The bell above the door rang. Leo looked up and froze. She didn't belong there. Everything about her felt like another world. "You're hard to find," she said calmly. Leo quickly closed his laptop. "If there's a problem with the delivery, this isn't about food." She placed the notebook on the table. "I read this." Silence. "You solved something my entire company couldn't." Leo looked down. "It's just logic." "No," she said softly. "It's more than that." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she asked the question that mattered. "Who are you?" Leo hesitated, then answered quietly. "I used to work for someone powerful. Marcus Thorne." The name hit her like a memory she tried to forget. "I built everything for him," Leo continued. But I refused to help him steal from people. So he destroyed me instead. Sarah's eyes darkened. Marcus doesn't like things he can't control. Leo looked up. You know him? She nodded slowly. I almost married him. Silence fell between them. Not awkward. Not heavy. Funny, Leo said. We both lost everything to the same man. Sarah let out a quiet breath. Maybe we didn't lose, she said. Maybe we were just redirected. Leo gave a small, tired smile. Into what? She leaned forward. Into something bigger. Outside, the rain slowed. Inside, something shifted. Two broken paths, finally crossing. I'm not offering you a job, Sarah said. I'm offering you something better. Leo looked at her. A chance to rebuild on your terms. And take back what was stolen. Leo didn't answer immediately, because for the first time in a long time, he wasn't thinking about survival. He was thinking about the possibility. The next morning everything changed. The same building, the same floors, the same people. But this time, Leo didn't walk in as a delivery driver. He walked in as the man no one saw coming. The guard stared, speechless. The boardroom went silent. Sarah stood beside him. Meet your new CTO. No one laughed. No one questioned. Because the results spoke louder than status ever could. Days turned into nights. And nights into breakthroughs. They rebuilt everything. Stronger. Smarter. Untouchable. But somewhere in between, something else grew. Not rushed. Not forced. Just natural. And one evening, as the sun dipped below the skyline, they stood together. High above the city. Where it all began. You're cold, Leo said softly. Before she could respond, he placed his jacket over her shoulders. Simple. Gentle. Sarah smiled. Not the controlled smile the world knew. But something genuine. Something warm. Marcus called, she said. He's scared. Leo chuckled lightly. What did you tell him? She looked out at the horizon. I told him. He's too late. Lights flickered across the city below. A world that once ignored him, now depended on him. And for the first time, Sarah didn't feel alone at the top. Because sometimes, the person the world overlooks is the one destined to change everything. Sometimes a genius hides behind struggle. Strength hides behind silence. And love finds you when you least expect it. Leo didn't just fix her company. He fixed something far more fragile. Her belief, her heart. And in the end, she realized something simple, but powerful. The world may judge you by what you wear, by where you stand, by what you do to survive. But destiny? Destiny only cares about what you're capable of becoming. So if you feel unseen, if you feel underestimated, if you feel like the world has already decided your story, don't stop. Keep going. Keep building. Keep believing. Because your current situation is not your final destination. And one day, the same world that ignored you will have no choice but to watch you rise. And if this story reminded you of who you really are, then this channel is for you. Subscribe now. Because every story we tell here is built to wake something up inside you. We don't just tell stories. We remind you of your power. So if you believe that greatness can come from anywhere, that the world is wrong about people like Leo, and maybe even wrong about you, then hit subscribe, follow, and stay with us, and be part of the next story before the world catches on. Because the next one might be yours.